kick it off. I guess we can just start. People will come in and go, but it's recorded, so it's all right. So welcome, y'all. This is a really exciting time for us at Fiveable. My name is Amanda. I'm the founder of Fiveable. I used to teach AP World History and AP Human Geography in Oakland. And probably would have stayed forever, but I honestly just couldn't deal with the adults anymore at the school. So I left and found that some of my former students really needed some help, and that was why Fiveable began. And so now this is now our 4th school year, which is kind of crazy, but it's where we are really creating a lot of content and building community for students, by students. We have so many teachers that are part of this. Our goal is really to get as many students the resources they need to succeed. And, and these AP classes are so important to get the credit and to feel like you can do it. Like, even though it's a rigorous class, like, you got this. So we're going to be doing a lot this year on community and content, and then of course the courses. So this is the first year we're doing courses. It's an exciting time in remote learning. Obviously, it's a scary time and an exciting time, but we're here for it. So I wanted to just kind of give you that intro, welcome you into it. I am in the Slack channel. You are more than welcome to message me anytime with any questions or ideas or whatever you got. And then we also have other Fiveable team members that are around and super helpful. So if you're here, I'd love to hear from you in the chat, like, where are you coming from? I'm sure we have students from all over, so maybe you could put your city in the chat so you can kind of get a quick sense of where everyone's from. Last time we had like California. We had a girl from Turkey, which was cool. It was like midnight for her. Nice, California. I'm here in Milwaukee. I actually live at the Fiveable headquarters, which is a 2020 way of saying I work from home. But cool. So we've got people from all over. I am excited for you guys. If you have not yet signed up for this course or any of the courses, or you have friends that want to sign up, I also have this little $10 coupon for you that you can come in and sign up for that. So I'll put that in the chat. And if you have any other questions, drop them in the chat at any time. I'm going to kick it over to Stephen, who does so many wonderful things at Fiveable, and he will introduce more about this class, more about Kelly, and we'll answer all your questions. Woohoo, take it away.
Woo, thank you, Amanda. So like Amanda was saying, Kelly is going to be the teacher for this course, and she is really going to be the person you guys go to, the person who will be doing the streams and be taking care of all the things related to the course, as my computer science skills are absolutely minimal. I do know like Google Docs pretty well, so I can help you there. But my name is Steven. I'm the operations manager here at Fiveable, and so I take care of a lot of the internal logistics and all of the just like the random stuff that happen all throughout Fiveable that kind of need, I dip my toes in here, and then I dip my toes in this other pool, and I just run around and try to keep everyone's sane as best as I can. And so I am in California, and so again, I also worked from home. Pre-COVID, I was also working from home, so nothing has really changed for me. But if you guys have any questions as we move forward, just feel free to type it in the chat. I'll be trying to answer them as best as I can, or Kelly, if you see them while you're presenting, you can hit those as well. And then afterwards, we'll also leave some time for you if you have any questions to ask Kelly directly. Feel free to unmute and you can ask her there. But other than that, Kelly, I'll let you introduce yourself and you can take it away.
Hi, everyone. I hope you're all having a good evening or afternoon, depending on what your time zone is. It's evening here, so we just had dinner. I am going to share my screen and just introduce the class, introduce myself, and hopefully answer some of your questions with a slideshow that I have. So, Stephen, when I'm sharing screen, it's actually it looks like your screen.
let's see here. Wouldn't be a Zoom meeting without technical difficulties. So when you press share screen, it only shows
the options. Normally the different options I would have would be like that, you know what, it's probably just I'll share my desktop. Normally I have the option to share like my tabs.
Yeah.
Let me see if this will work. Are you seeing mine?
It's your desktop.
Okay.
There you go.
All right, sorry about that. So again, welcome to the open house for AP Computer Science Principles. I just wanted to ask really quickly in chat, have any of you taken Computer Science A, or have you taken Computer Science Principles before? Or you can type no if you haven't taken it at all.
No, I haven't.
So we're all brand new? All right. Cool. All right. Well, hopefully I can tell you a little bit about the class and get you excited for it because I actually really like it. So I am a teacher. I am in Florida. I live close to Disney World. So I'm in Central Florida in between Lakeland and Tampa. And just some weird and interesting things about me. I keep a lot of animals at home. So I currently have 21 chameleons at my house, which is actually, most of them are babies. So I only have 3 full-grown ones, adults. The rest are little babies. I keep dart frogs. I have koi, I have cichlids. I have some backyard chickens. And I also raise all these insects to feed them. So that's one of the interesting things that about me. I love to play video games. I've been an avid gamer since really since Atari, but NES was probably one of my first ones, and Animal Crossing is kind of what I'm playing right now, as well as Elder Scrolls Online. My all-time favorite is Super Mario Brothers 3 and Final Fantasy 7, the original. So as far as in the classroom, I actually have my degree in information technology, which is really like a broad background in programming and computer science concepts, networking, cybersecurity. So like a really general all around background in the types of things that you actually learn about in computer science principles. So I have 2 teenagers, and that's how I became involved in actually becoming a teacher. I decided I wanted to share what I thought was really exciting with others. So the last 5 years I've been teaching computer science. I've taught AP, and I've also taught just programming as electives. I also taught in a like makerspace Fab Lab kind of a classroom, if you're familiar with that. We had laser cutters, 3D printers. I worked with middle school and high school, and I have a very interactive, hands-on approach to the classroom. In terms of doing online classroom, I'll talk about that in just a second, but I just love teaching technology, and I love teaching programming because another little known fact is that I'm not like an amazing programmer. Programming was scary to me when I first did it, and I'm not like a super great math student, and I always thought, you know, you had to be excellent at math and you had to like be extremely you know, very technical. And while I really like the computers and the technology, I'm more of a creative person. And, you know, again, my math is not always that great. And I found that AP Computer Science Principles really spoke to me in that it's this very common sense and practical information that I really think like everybody should know. And I really, really enjoy like helping students create their very first program and seeing how easy it actually is to just sit down in like 10 minutes and kind of like put something together and get the computer to do something for you. It's really cool. So as far as online learning and remote learning, me personally, I've done a lot of online learning myself. So almost my entire bachelor's degree was online at the University of South Florida. I'm currently working on my master's degree in STEAM education, teaching and learning. And it has been completely online. So as far as teaching online, as many of you know, with COVID going on, maybe your school shut down last year. Our school shut down, and so we had to go and do online learning. And if you're familiar with what a makerspace is and think about building things out of cardboard and using utility knives and a laser cutter at our school and 3D printers, I taught that online, and it was a really interesting experience, but I had a lot of fun. I also taught that term at our school. We were doing virtual reality and augmented reality and Unity, so I had a co-teacher with that. And so I do have a lot of experience with like the online tools and figuring things out. Again, what I really love about the Computer Science Principles course is all of these tools that have come up. They come up and they go, and new ones come in. When you are not afraid of technology and you get comfortable just trying things out and problem solving and troubleshooting, you'll learn that you can learn really any platform or any software tool just by being comfortable, like being on the computer. And I think Computer Science Principles really helps like with that. So what can you expect in this class? So Computer Science Principles is based around these 5 big ideas. There are a wide variety of topics in computer science. So there are about 35 different topics. Some of them are foundational ideas. We talk about the internet, like what is the internet? How does it work? We do programming. So there are programming languages. The big difference between, if you're familiar at all with AP Computer Science A versus AP Computer Science Principles, AP Computer Science A is strictly Java. So you are learning Java, you are learning how to program in Java. In Computer Science Principles, the teacher gets to choose the programming language that they run the course with. Because I have taught many different programming languages, my approach to this class is to survey the class and find out where you are and what you're interested in, and to be able to provide support, whether you want to try block-based programming, something like Scratch, or whether you want to try something like Python, which is very easy to learn right now and has a lot of future practical applications, or whether you want to, if you're creative and you like art, you could do something like processing. So I have this this supportive background that I could help like whatever different languages you might be interested in. There will be critical thinking discussion prompts. So the CSP exam does not have FRQs like other AP classes do. The exam itself is actually 70% of the exam is based on a multiple choice questions, and some of them are like situational questions, and some of them have like programming maps that you look at, or like a robot is going along this path, and you have to determine what the programming instructions would be. But there are no essay or FRQ type questions on there. 30% of the AP score comes from an actual program that you write. That while you're in the course for AP CSP, typically you spend about 12 classroom hours writing this program. And that shouldn't freak you out from, wanting to do this, because again, like I could spend 20 minutes with you and show you how to write an app, for example. That was one of the other programming languages that I taught was App Inventor, and I could help you build a game in like 30 minutes online. So it's really cool. It's really fun. You will be getting feedback on the weekly exercises that we do from an AP reader, and support from our community TAs, and of course myself. So each week we will have a 1-hour live session. So I've broken up all of the topics that you would experience in the course and put them in 1-hour sessions where we'll be exploring topics, doing hands-on exercises and interactive type things, and doing some programming things. You'll get an outline of study topics, tons of resources from Fiveable and other reputable sources. Unique projects or writing assignments with feedback provided. So again, that's really valuable, getting the feedback from the AP readers that is for you. We do have awesome office hours with TAs, and then of course community, your community of everyone learning with you. So here is what a week at a glance looks like. So this actually would be like the first week. So in the first week, it's just an overview of the different big ideas. Other weeks would actually include more detailed topics, as I mentioned. So like, for example, on Wednesday, it's just an overview of algorithms and programming. So, you know, there might be a video to watch, there might be an exercise for you to click on and be able to do. This is just a big, broad overview, whereas we'll spend several weeks specifically going into things like variables, or variables and assignments, or procedures, calling procedures, different things like that. The internet is one of my favorites. I just think everyone should know how the internet works and how you actually type things and pictures show up. And then, for example, on this one on Friday, there is a virtual tour of the Computer History Museum. So another thing we do in CSP is we talk a lot about computing innovations and exploring, you know, in the impact of computing, it's how these computing innovations and technological innovations have impacted our world and our lives. Being a project-based learning teacher, I'm really big on trying to find hands-on things where you can, again, we're all on our computers, so it's not exactly the same as being there face-to-face or maybe going to the museum, but I think it's kind of cool, a lot of the technology tools that are available out there, which is why I picked the virtual tour. I see a question there. Are the classes every day or once a week? The classes are once a week for the stream, but the content that's provided for you, I kind of have chunked out little activities that you could do each day so that you could spend, you know, an hour or two, depending on what your schedule is. Maybe you have 30 minutes on one day to spend on something, but the live stream is once a week. So this is my advice for handling whether it's just AP classes or classes online. So pace yourself for sure, and set aside dedicated time to work through the resources that are provided, and specifically the create programming task. Again, the guidelines state that you should spend about 12 hours. You don't want to spend 12 hours like 1 week doing it. So the idea is that, you know, you start learning a programming language or introduced to one, you spend, you know, an hour 1 week kind of working at it, maybe an hour another week, and then, you know, we start building it and putting it together. You'll understand what an algorithm is, you'll put something together, we'll test it, we'll test it together, and you'll get feedback on it. So pacing yourself is really important. And as I built this course, I build it with activities that are designed for you to have just little chunks of time to be able to do different interactive things each day. Actively participating in the discussion and activities, the community is here for you. So, you know, the more, I believe this with anything in life, the more you put into something, the more you're going to get out of it. So if you are, you know, discussing things and someone responds to you and you respond back to them, 2 heads are better than 1. You're going to get more out of that. Question, how can we access the recordings for missed lectures? Those will be in our platform, which is called Thinkific. So I don't know if Stephen wants to talk about that, or do you want to talk about how the platform works, or is that just?
So yeah, so once you're signed up for the course, Thinkific is sort of like I know the website says courses.fiveable.me, and you'll have specific access to that. And whatever course you're on, you'll get a link to actually join and view all the material for that. And so that's where all the recorded stuff will be. Once the course starts, we'll be sending out more information too on, like, here's where you can view your missed lectures, here's where you can chat with your actual the people that are taking that course with you, all of that stuff. And so that stuff will be coming, but Kelly is right, it will be technically housed within Thinkific, whether it's like a Vimeo recording or a YouTube video or whatnot, it'll be there.
And then my last piece of advice is just breathe. You got this. As far as the AP CSP exam, I think, you can go online and Google and see what people say and what they talk about it, but it's shorter than most traditional AP exams. And again, I might be biased, but I believe that what you actually learn in this class, it's very practical. Like, it makes sense, and it builds on things that you probably already know, because you use a laptop and you use a cell phone, you use the internet, you're using all of these things. With the programming, you get to dig into it a little bit deeper and actually understand how it's working and not just what you're using. So yeah, again, to me, it's worth it, of course, because it's a real world understanding of computers. And it's an introductory level of programming. We're not expecting you to go into this advanced level. It gives you a really good foundation if you decide that you do want to go into more advanced programming at some point. The class is about equivalent to like an introductory computer science class, or technology concepts that you would take at college. And technology and computers are here to stay. They're going to be a part of our life into the foreseeable future. Whether you want to actually pursue a career or college education, or if you just want to be more comfortable with what it is that you're using every day, I think this class helps you with that. And being able to learn with a supportive community and lots of extra resources, I think will be the most valuable thing for you to help you succeed in it, and hopefully have fun. Okay, so that was a really quick overview, and I'd like to open it up for any kinds of other. I see there's been some questions there. What kind of questions do you guys have? And feel free to unmute or put your camera on or whatever you like. I love talking with students. So.
Hi. I know you said for computer science A, it's Java. So for computer science principles, which is this course, is there a specific programming language or?
So the teacher is able to choose, and because of this being a new class and starting up, and I haven't had a chance to talk to my students yet, I haven't picked one language for this course because I can support multiple languages, and because this is meant as a supplemental course. For AP CSP, you have to have an AP registered teacher. I do know that. So basically, I'm saying you get to pick. Like, if you already know how to use Scratch and you want to use Scratch, I will provide lots of resources for Scratch. But if someone wants to use processing, or someone wants to use Python, and if you don't know and you don't have any idea at all, I will provide you with some very introductory level programming examples. Those three that I just mentioned are actually all pretty introductory. And there's just a plethora of resources that are available to you to be able to learn those and create a program for the create task. So does that help at all?
Yeah, so I understood this part when you said earlier, but I was a little confused. I'm the mom of Geetika, actually. So So my question was, if you choose, or if the teacher in the school chooses, the AP exam is actually a national exam where it's conducted by the AP college board, right? So how do you know if the teacher is choosing the same thing as what they would ask in the AP exam?
That's a great question. So on the AP exam, there's two parts to it. One part is the multiple choice questions, and one part is the program that you make yourself. So AP College Board allows you to choose from a list of programming languages to create that program. And so I will provide you the list of those. For the multiple choice questions, AP CSP actually uses what we call pseudocode, and it takes on a very specific format. So I will be teaching the students that pseudocode. I'll be providing them with the reference sheets so that they know what it looks like. So on the AP CSP multiple choice exam, there is no specific language. It's a pseudocode that is standard, and it's not something that you could put in program. Hopefully does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. What other questions are there? Does anybody on here have any programming experience already? Have you ever written anything from scratch, or Minecraft or Roblox or any of those?
I made the Space Needle with Java once, I think, like a picture.
That's cool.
That's about it.
No, that's awesome.
Oh, dang.
Scratch is actually really cool. So it's a block-based language, which means you're not actually typing code. So typing and syntax, the textual code is sometimes what trips a lot of people up. So Scratch, you get to actually drag and drop these blocks, and you get to see your game or your animation like come to life like instantly right next to you. And Scratch is an allowed program for you to create your programming language. So for the create task, there are certain parameters that you have to meet with like data and with algorithms and what it is that you're actually incorporating into your program. But yeah, the language it's very flexible. So I see somebody ask, would it be beneficial to take this class prior to taking Comp Sci A? So there, in my opinion, of course, I'm going to say yes. If you look up the official answer, people will say different things. Some people say you can take them simultaneously. I will say that a lot of people find Comp Sci A harder because it is very strictly programming and it is very strictly Java, and there really isn't a lot of like exploration of these uh, foundational topics. So if you already are really strong at math and have gone pretty far and you're very interested and you want a challenge with it, then it's a class that you might be interested in taking. If you take this class and you do well in this class and you want to learn more, I would certainly recommend taking Comp Sci A afterwards. If you take Comp Sci A first and then you come back to this class, there are still advantages, but some people may find the programming aspects easier because this is an introductory level programming. Comp Sci A doesn't have prior programming experience requirements either, but they definitely go much deeper into programming than we do in this class. So hopefully that helps answer that question. There are a lot of things in this class that we cover, again, just foundationally from a just computing and conceptual viewpoint that aren't covered in Comp Sci A. So I think they're both great. But because, again, as I mentioned, I'm a little more intimidated by math and programming, my preference is the CSP class because it's fun to me. I get to explore all the fun things.
This one really isn't a question, but more of like an application type. If this course would be beneficial for processing for Art Studio. I'm not.
Oh, I see. I see. Processing for Art Studio. Yeah, so processing is a language that I've taught before, and they tout it as a really good way to learn programming visually. So I have done a lot of like art projects with processing. I love it. I think it's great. I have a lot of resources out there. I've read a few books on it. So if if he has experience, I see. So it's your son Davin, yeah. So if he's has experience with processing already and he's written some things, oh, that's good to know. So Stephen, can you see that what Amy posted?
Yes. So Amy, if you go actually onto just like the courses.fiveable website, and then there should be a little chat button in the bottom right corner. And if you click on that bubble and then let us know, we can take care of that for you. It's a problem with the website and a little login issue. So yep, it's a super quick fix.
So Amy, when you're saying he's interested in processing for Art Studio, like Art Studio as a class, is this an AP class he's taking too, or? And you can unmute if you want to talk.
Hi, that's easier. I'm not much of a typist. Yes, he actually wants to do Studio AP Art right away, but I'm more interested in having him maybe do one more semester of art before he does AP Studio Art. So, but he loves art. He's always doing art. So but he's only 10th grade, and he skipped 8th, so he's still young. But in the computer science, he probably knows all of it, hopefully. Well, maybe not all of it, but he knows a lot. But I want him to sort of ease into AP courses by taking something he's really comfortable with. But he doesn't have a lot of background in actual computer art. Some, but not, maybe not the same as the language that you were talking about having that would support that.
Yeah, well, I will say that this is a really great introductory course, I think, into AP because I've just heard most of the students talk about, their experiences with the exam and how much easier it really is. I think, and I haven't taught AP Art Studios, so I don't know what the requirements are for what you would submit there, but the processing language is meant to create art. I mean, people make art programs with it. So do we create a program during the exam? No, you do not create a program during the exam. The exam is, remind myself how many questions are on it again. I said at 120, I believe. I'll have to double check that. But, and I think it's like an hour and a half is what they allocate normally for the multiple choice part, but I know it's a lot shorter than what other AP exams are. The program that you have to make is something that you make throughout your year in a course. So they basically say that you need to spend 12 hours on it. So, and like I said, I wouldn't spend 12 hours all in one week. This is like you start to learn a language. You spend an hour 1 week planning. Maybe the next week you spend 2 hours. Things like wireframing and writing your pseudocode. That's all part of developing a program. So those are all included in that time. Planning on taking AP CSA second semester since it's closer to the exam date. Would it be a large workload taking Comp Sci A, Principles in Comp Sci A, or are the two more complementary? I would say Comp Sci A has a lot more in terms of, again, in-depth programming. Comp Sci Principles is going to be, if you have, and it also depends on your background information. If you already know like a good amount about how different things work, you kind of go into it with that information. So we talk about data, and we talk about how data is used and data sets, and we go a little bit beyond that. Again, if you guys want to know like what the big ideas are, the big ideas, the first one is creative development, and that one is just all about how you collaborate to build things like online, how you collaborate when you're writing programs. The other big ideas that we have are, as I mentioned, data. You do learn how to convert binary and decimal. So that's one thing that it's kind of just a memorization and practical knowledge of how you're converting numbers back and forth. The programming section is one of the biggest sections where we spend the most amount of time, but it's a completely introductory type level into programming. So again, it's like, what is a variable and what is assignments? What does that mean? And then we practice it, and what are strings? What different data types? We talk about conditionals and iterations, so like looping in programs. So if you know what I'm talking about already, then then you kind of have a head start. If you don't, it's fine. Like we start from the fact that you don't know anything, and we build on it from there. So the internet, it's my favorite, and we do talk about the internet. That's like a whole segment. And then the impact of computing. And on the exam this year, so they changed the format of the exam for anybody that has ever looked at this course before. One of the things that they did, they used to have 2 performance tasks. These are these projects that you did, and then you submit to the AP board by a very specific date. And they used to have one where you would really in-depth look at a computing innovation and then create what they call a computational artifact, which is really just a fancy word for infographic or Google slideshow or Google Doc. Like that's a computational artifact. And that you don't have that requirement anymore. So all you have now is writing a program of your own and the multiple choice exam. So I personally don't think comp sci principles is a heavy workload. But as I said earlier, you get out of something what you put into it. So because it is so many topics and it's so broad, there is certainly a lot of exploration for you to go and look at all these things. I mean, even as I was writing it, I get excited because I was like, oh, I can talk about this and I can talk about this, but it goes really deep. So I'll definitely provide what's on the surface, but I'm one of those teachers that's going to provide a lot of resources for you so that you can dig deeper into it. But as I understand Comp Sci A, it's really just digging deep into algorithms, the math, and Java, the language of Java. You'll find the programming in CSP to be much easier and maybe just a little too basic, like if you really want to do the hardcore programming. And you can do that in CSP. It's just not something that I like dig into like when I'm teaching. Great questions.
Well, we have time for maybe 1 or 2 more questions. And also too, with any of this, Kelly, the whole Fiveable team will all be around too, especially in that Slack community. For those of you that don't know what that community is, once you sign up for a course, you'll get a little link that asks you to sign a community agreement, and then you'll be added into a large Slack channel. And that's where a big part of the communication will happen, where you can ask questions and chat with each other and things like that. And so we'll all be active in that community as well as you have more questions and things like that. But are there any other last questions before we wrap up here? Okay, well, Kelly, appreciate you taking the time to sort of, go through 15 weeks. Community space is monitored. Yes, so that's what part of the agreement will be that you sign, just to make it a safe place for everyone. And it is monitored in the sense that, everyone is active, so you'll be able to communicate with teachers and TAs and the team and anyone else there. So again, Kelly, thank you for your time. Oh. And if you guys have any other questions, you can either email the hi@fiveable.me email. You can chat in the Slack channel if you're already in there. And we'll have these recordings. We'll send out an email at the end of the week with like here are all the open houses that we did and here are the recordings for that, so that you can go back and look at it if you need, or if you want someone else to look through it. And then again, if you are planning on signing up for the course and want a $10 coupon, it's that OH for open house and 10, so OH10. And when you sign up for either this course or any other course that you decide to join, you can use that code for $10 off each course. But hey, Benjamin does have one last question. Can you take an AP test if you aren't enrolled in the class in your school? Is that specific to this course, Benjamin, or in general for AP? And Kelly, you might know more specifically with principals, since you have to be enrolled.
Yeah, so I actually don't know. I'd have to go back to the college board. Yeah, I was wondering, Harrison, because I've seen you in authoring and some of the things. So yeah, please, because CSP is a little different. Unmute yourself though.
Hi, so there are 4 classes that the College Board offers that you cannot self-study, and one of those is Comp Sci Principles, and there's also AP Studio Art, which is Art and Design, 3D Art, Drawing, and AP Seminar and AP Research. You cannot self-study those 4 courses because they have some kind of performance task, which means you need some AP certified teacher at your school. All other 34 AP classes you can self-study, but to self-study you need to go to your school or district's AP coordinator, or sometimes even your counselor, to ask like for an AP classroom join code so you can get registered for the exam. And generally now with the new AP classroom format, you have to register for the exam by like October, November timeframe. So make sure you talk to the people in your school early if you're thinking about self-studying anything.
Awesome. Thank you, Harrison. So hopefully that helps answer your question, Benjamin. I think that's it though. That's a good overview of the course. It's a good idea of what each of so if you're enrolled in a number of different courses, this is generally the pace at which the course will be going as well. And again, obviously this is one of the courses where you do have to be enrolled at your school, but as far as the Fiveable side of it goes, this is very, very accurate to what a lot of the courses will look like. So hopefully that'll help you get an idea for any other ones. But thank you all for taking the time to come. Thank you, Kelly, so much for preparing those slides for us. And if you have any questions, just throw it in the Slack channel or email us. And that's all we got for today. Perfect.
Thank you, everybody. It's nice to meet you.
Thank you.
All right. See you guys. Thank you.